You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
I'm Stephen Cabral. Today on our Friday review, I'm going to be taking you through a book that it probably came out about 4 or 5 years ago, but I wanted to review it with you here today because it is actually making a little bit of a comeback. It's a paleo-style book with a little bit more maybe safe starches and dairy than a lot of paleo-based people would allow you to have. Then I'm going to get into some almond milk recommendations, different products, and then also a journal that you can use that a lot of people have been using, actually, over 13,000 people, to start to track their goals a little bit better and keep themselves a little bit more accountable. So let's get right into it now today. So the book is actually called The Perfect Health Diet, and its subtitle is Regain Health and Lose Weight by Eating the Way You Were Meant to Eat. So it's by Paul and Shu Jing Jaminet, and I'm, again, the worst at pronouncing people's names, so hopefully that wasn't too much of a butchering of those names, but I did want to take you through it because this is one of those books I was actually asked to review this. Maybe I wouldn't have reviewed this book if I wasn't asked to, but I will pretty much get to every single listener question that is emailed in, or actually if you go to stephencabral.com/ask Cabral, that's where I take all of those questions. And so this book was sent in and asked me if I could review this, and since I did read it a few years back, I pulled it out from my library, and I did go through it. So here's what I like about the book. The book is telling you, like most great nutrition books, to eat foods that come from nature, that are basically whole foods. That's one of the best parts of this book. But it also talks about a process that very few people, they will be talking about, but very few people are still talking about right now, and that's called autophagy. And that happens when your body is in a fasted state and you start to actually clean up your blood. You start to actually get rid of what's called necrotic tissue or disease tissue or even cancer cells. And that's a process that I talk about and that I recommend in my own practice in Boston and online with the Dr. Cabral Detox, by fasting essentially from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. every day. So it's 12 hours. And again, it could be 8 to 8. It could be 5 to 5. However you want to do it, I do recommend those 12 hours. They do talk a little bit about that, and then 1 or 2 days a week, they're including that as a no breakfast, so a fast from breakfast, so from dinner the night before to lunch the next day. So those parts are great, and I do like that. And actually, I think of some of the best information in this book actually comes away from their nutrition plan. I know that sounds like, I'm not putting this book down at all, I'm really not, and it is worth a read if you would like. But a lot of their information actually comes away from the foods that they recommend. And that's because they're talking to you about food toxins, chemicals in the environment. They're talking about the immune system, how to stay away from things like fructose, high fructose in certain foods. They're talking about different diets for people that have worked based on, because their body was deficient in things like vitamin D and healthy fats. They're saying that when you're overweight, you have to be careful about the amount of fat that you do eat, which a lot of people on paleo-based diets, they don't say that. You say you can eat as much fat as you want, and they're not saying that in this book. So there's a lot I do like about it. However, here's the issue, is that it's very heavy on meat. It's very heavy on frying foods, and there's actually some dairy in the book, which I'm not recommending for most people, especially those people who are looking to lose weight and get well. And the reason is, I just from a clinical perspective, I probably do a lot more lab testing than the authors do, and I get to see the amount of people who are actually sensitive on a food sensitivity test to dairy in general. And that's not a lactose-based issue. That's not a gas bloating-based issue. That's actually an immune-based issue. So when they're having things like yogurt and those types of items, they actually are having a reaction. And again, this book's not recommending a lot of that, but they are recommending some of that. And I can't recommend they end with like people saying that they're eating bacon and things like that. Now, it's already been shown. That's why don't wait for it to come out anymore. bacon and a lot of these, again, process-based foods or foods that you're frying have been shown now to cause cancer. And there's really no way around that. And hey, I mean, the taste of bacon for most people is pretty fantastic. They love it. But it's not a health food, and we have to really get away from that. Now, there are foods that we would love to be able to eat all the time and that we believe are really tasty, but we can't just justify them and say that they're healthy for us because we think that they're really tasty. And you have to be careful with that because I'm trying to give it to you from an unbiased perspective, not a food that might taste good, but one that's actually going to be healthy for us in the long run. And yes, some people can eat it and get away with it, but there are a lot of people who can't, and they're showing that it is one of those foods that can lead to increased risk of cancer. So you have to be careful with it. Is this a book that I would read if you're just an avid reader of health books in general? Absolutely. But if this is going to be the book that you're going to follow for your nutrition plan and your kind of dietary advice, it wouldn't be my pick. And again, nothing against the authors. I think it is a good book. And if you're like me and you just love to read, great book to pick up. You'll definitely get some nuggets from it, but it wouldn't be my first pick. So again, it's no offense, something like that. There's a lot of great information. The authors are certainly very smart people, just not the first one that I'm going to promote because I certainly cannot promote the nutrition plan that they're promoting in general. No, that's all. Again, that's my opinion. You might think it's the absolute best nutrition plan that you've ever seen, and that's okay too. All right. Up next for our review, one of my reviews, I talk a lot about smoothies, right? And I talk a lot about doing that for breakfast and not having the heavier breakfast, again, which is in the perfect health diet before. It's like the bacon and the eggs and the sausage. I just can't recommend a diet that ever recommends that. I can't. And it's because again, that uses too much energy. I don't want to get back into that today, but one of the things I do recommend is obviously a smoothie for breakfast. And you can use anybody's product that you want. That's totally fine with me of whatever type of protein or all-in-one that you're using. But a lot of people like to use some type of nut milk in that. And so what I'm typically recommending is like 8 ounces of water and 8 ounces of a nut milk. Now, the nice thing, and I'm talking about almond milk here today, is almonds are a lot of times a non-food allergen, meaning like there's not a lot of people who are sensitive to almonds. There are people, and again, you can do a food sensitivity test. You can literally do it right at home. You can just go to stephencabral.com/store and just purchase literally a food sensitivity test. We send it to you. You do it right at home just by poking your finger. You put a couple drops of blood right on the card. You mail it back into the lab, which is a free prepaid FedEx envelope. We get the results in about 3 weeks or so. We send those over to you. Really easy to do. And then you actually get to see, are you sensitive to coconut? Are you sensitive to almonds? And that will let you know if that's the best choice for you or not. But anyway, if not, you can use an almond milk. And again, tune in tomorrow because if you tune in tomorrow, I'm going to go over some good alternatives to overall dairy milk. And I'll be reviewing coconut milk and a bunch of others. But today, there's a brand that I use in my Boston practice, and it's Whole Foods 365 brand. And the reason is there's no carrageenan in it, which I like, which is the gum, the thickener that's been shown to cause intestinal-based cancer or cancer in lab rats. And so let's not wait for, obviously, that be transferred over to humans. Let's make sure we're not using that. And another product that people love using is a brand called Califia. Now, I might be mispronouncing that, and that could be possible, but it's Califia. So just go to the show notes page, and literally to go to the show notes page, it's so easy now. I like to go to stephencabral.com / and then that show's number, and today's show is 181. So stephencabral.com / 181. And you'll find my links to these products. Califia Farms, they make a coconut milk now and almond milk, but I'm just going to talk about the almond milk here today. They make an unsweetened vanilla, and Whole Foods makes their 365 brand of an unsweetened vanilla. Both of these brands are great. Again, the Whole Foods one has less stuff in it, which I like, and just means less thickener, right? So they both around 30 calories, which is very little for 8 ounces. Both of them cost about the same. Both have just about 1 gram of carbohydrates and about 1 gram of protein. So these are pretty low reactive based nut milks. Again, I do a 50-50 mixture, about 8 ounces of nut milk and 8 ounces of water. The nice thing is almond milk is going to get you a good amount of calcium as well. It's calcium carbonate, so it's not the best form of calcium, that's for sure, but certainly more than dairy. And again, I'll talk about that more in the coming week and also on tomorrow's show. So definitely stay tuned for that. So those are the two brands that I've been recommending. A lot of people are asking about all sorts of different brands. And believe it or not, most brands are going to be okay within the next 3 or 4 months because most people are taking out the carrageenan. But for now, I just thought I would let you know that Those two brands right now are carrageenan free. Califia Farms did used to have carrageenan, but now right on the front of their label, it says pissed carrageenan free. So it's basically just saying like, hey guys, we took out all of our carrageenan. We're okay now because a lot of people were boycotting them. So again, those are the two brands that I'm recommending. Feel free to check those out, and they both taste very different, so you can try them out. All right, and the last product I'm recommending is it's an actual journal. So a lot of people love to write in journals. A lot of people like to do their goal setting. So this is actually called the Freedom Journal. Now, the author who created it, his name is John Lee Dumas, and he's a popular podcast. So if you're an entrepreneur, you might want to check that out. And what he did was he actually created a journal. It's called the Freedom Journal. It's a 100-day journal to track your progress and success. But what it's doing is essentially you're creating a goal, and you're going to really stay laser focused on that goal. You're going to be able to measure it. You're going to be doing these things that are called 10-day sprints, which are kind of like micro goals to get things done, because so many people have all of these great ideas that they would love to be doing, like maybe writing a book or learning a new hobby or craft or whatever it might be, and they're just not getting it done. So this journal, the Freedom Journal, is actually getting you to accomplish those goals within the next 100 days. And it's a pretty remarkable little journal. And really what it's doing is it's saying, okay, I'm going to script my days as well. Like today, here's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to write in what I'm going to do for the day. And then at the end of the day, you get to track your progress. Like, did you actually accomplish what you said you wanted to accomplish for the day? So it's taking this larger goal and breaking it into smaller, more manageable chunks that you can actually accomplish, that you can actually really do and participate in and actually be one of those people who take action on their goals rather than sitting there and maybe having regret of saying, oh, I would love to do this, but, and there's all of these different buts. Well, you're going to say, okay, for essentially the next 3 months, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stay laser focused on accomplishing this one goal, whatever that might be, whether it's weight loss. And if it's weight loss, okay, great. Like, here are the steps I'm going to take. I'm going to start this cleanse, this detox, this nutrition plan, this exercise program, whatever it might be, whatever is best for you. And then you're going to start to journal with it. You're going to say, okay, on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm going to do my strength training, metabolic resistance days. And then 2 other days of the week, maybe let's say on a Tuesday and Saturday, I'm going to do my interval cardio, or I'm just going to do my cardio in general. And again, this is just a really nice way of getting whatever goals you have, not all of them, one goal, whatever goal that is, and just saying, okay, I'm going to accomplish this over the next 100 days. So if that sounds like it might be of interest to you, again, I don't promote this. I don't make any money for promoting this. This is not why I'm doing this. It's to let you know about all these great products that you may not have heard about, like the healthier brands of almond milk, like this book called The Perfect Health Diet, and like something called the Freedom Journal that you might want to check out. You might want to just look more into. And again, I've reviewed them personally. I think all of them are great. I'm going to give you the pros. I'm going to give you the cons. And there's really not any cons to the Freedom Journal, except that, there's a cost to it, right? So you could do these things on your own, but sometimes when you invest in something, like it's $39, I believe, for the Freedom Journal. But if you invest in that, what does that really cost you over 100 days? It's like, I don't even know what that is, 30 cents a day, 33 cents a day. Anyway, something very inexpensive. So 39 cents a day. There we go. So over that 100 days, that's what you're paying. But if it helps you accomplish your goal, $39 is obviously well worth it. So again, check that out. See if it makes sense for you. Let me know if there's anything else you would like me to review for you on a Friday review coming up in the future. And be sure to check out Saturday and Sunday's house call. I'm reviewing a lot of great questions that came in over the last couple of weeks. Looking forward to getting into those. Thank you, everyone, for a great week on the Cabral concept. Looking forward to, again, doing those house calls tomorrow. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my Health Results Accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stephencabral.com/courses.